New Year's Eve got snacks and dread. We survived this year instead, but our brains are truly cursed. Watch the bad ones first. Killer donut, haunted chair, plot holes thicker than my hair. We took notes so you don't have to. You're welcome. Roasted snow, New Year's roast. Hey. Pop the fear and burn the toast. Hey. Counting down the words we saw here. Bad jump scare, sheep fake gore. Rank 'em, spank 'em, give us more. Roasted snow horror show. We're still here. Final girl in rubber shoes, trip and fall on plastic ooze. CGI that made us cry. For the budget, not the guy. If it made you hit fast forward, it's climbing up our shameful scoreboard. Raise your glass and sing along. This trash deserves a song. Roasted snow, New Year's roast. Hey. Pop the fear and burn the toast. Hey. Counting down the worst we saw here. Bad jump scare, sheep fake gore. Rank 'em, spank 'em, give us more. Roasted snow horror show. We're still here. We're gonna roast the worst on earth. What you counting down? Disaster burn. 3, 2, 1. Last bad show. Roasted snow horror show. Happy fucking New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone, from the Roasted Snow Horror Show. Welcome. Tonight we got a really fun one. I'm your host, Ryan Rosted. Everybody thinks my last name is Roasted. With me is my good buddy and co-host, Chris Snow, the Snowman, the sexual Tyrannosaurus, finishing out 2025, going into 2026. How are you?
Like a Viagra pill with a face, baby. I'm great.
And
How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm ready to stop doing the show with you now after that comment. But yeah, no.
Dirty Mike.
Yeah, we got Dirty Mike.
I did watch The Other Guys the other day just because it's on Netflix right now. Just classic. Man, that movie's good.
That's one I can always throw on. If it's on TNT or anything like that, I can always just pop that one on.
Watch it.
It's just so quotable and very underrated. You know, aim for the bushes.
Yeah, I don't want no scrubs.
Yeah, come on. You have to know you're quoting TLC on that.
I don't know. I don't understand the reference.
Or they're at the Knicks game. They're like, "Oh, this feels like a bribe." It's like, it is a bribe.
Let's go Knicks. I got Knicks fever. Let's go Knicks.
Our boy Danilo Gallinari makes an appearance in that movie.
Indeed.
So Nuggets legend Danilo Gallinari, but man,
Derek Jeter himself, shot in the leg by Mark Wahlberg.
Yep. You should have shot A-Rod.
I was being groomed for a top position in homicide, and I'm stuck with a desk jockey partner. Everybody calls me the Yankee Clipper.
Because you shot Derek Jeter! He's a biracial angel. You should have shot A-Rod.
Anyway, guys, if you're new, it's unscripted. That's what we love about this. So we just talked about Other Guys for 2 minutes. And tonight we have a very special New Year's episode. And we wanted to do this kind of an interesting way. A lot of people count down what was their favorite thing, their best memory, their best moment. We're going completely the opposite. We are going to pick 5 movies each that we hated this
The
year.
stinkers.
In the world of horror. It's going to be a little interesting because this isn't necessarily the bottom 5 like horror movies of the entire year that of everything that was released. It's just what we have seen. So, for instance, like I didn't go see The Strangers 2 because I knew it was going to be shit. So that's not going to be on my list. The Strangers Chapter 2, this reboot of The Strangers, hated it. So I didn't even waste my time with that. And so there's some on here that, you know, it was a very strong year in horror. So maybe if some of the better films were a little on the lower end, then maybe these don't end up on the list. But we have not talked at all about these lists. There's no guarantee that either of us have seen both, that I've seen all of his movies and he's seen all of mine. So it should make for a really interesting conversation here, and I'm really excited about it.
And I already asked Ryan, or I should say I told Ryan, I believe as we sit here, because we haven't gone over each other's lists, I firmly believe that the worst film of 2025, the worst horror film of 2025, may be the same for both of ours. We don't know, but I think it might be. I'm just putting that out there in the ether.
Now, this is normally on our Friday episodes, we do just theatrical releases. This is anything that was released in 2025. This is streaming, this is theatrical, this is, hey, if your buddy made a shitty indie film and you watched it, that's what this is. None of those are on here, not the indie films, but that my buddy filmed. But no, there are some, at least on my list. I kind of have a little mixed batch here. So and we could probably do some honorable mentions here, at least before we get to our final one, if we're just thinking out loud. But yeah, and guys, follow us on our socials. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, and we're at Roasted Snow Horror Show. Some of them were at Roasted Snow Horror, but just search Roasted Snow Horror. You're going to find us everywhere. And especially after this episode, email us at roastedsnowhorror@gmail.com, because
please, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, you are going to hate some of these that we talk about, and you're going to have your own list, and I want to hear about them too, because it is almost as much fun talking about the movies that sucked as it is the ones that we loved. So I can't wait for this. Chris, what thoughts do you have going into this?
Right in, man. I mean, I'm really excited to see what your list is. I'm really excited to tell you the movies that are on mine, because just like you said, I'm sure there are some on here that you haven't even seen. And I'm excited to talk about, number one, why the movie didn't do it for me overall. And then, of course, hear the same thing from you, because for all I know, there might be some on your list that I really liked and some on my list that you really liked. So that's what makes this fun.
That makes it totally fun. I guess we can just get rolling then with to close out 2025. So Sexual Tyrannosaurus goes first. What is your number 5?
Well, first I'm going to start with a quick honorable mention, because I didn't not like this. How do I say it? I didn't not like this film enough to have it on the bottom 5 list. I guess I would say I was expecting more. And there is a sequel coming out very soon that the critics are already raving about, but I'm going to give an honorable mention to 28 Years Later. Because I love 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. I think that's top tier horror, especially like, there's the whole zombie fiction thing. 28 Years Later didn't really do it for me. And again, I don't think it's a bad film, and I think that's kind of why it's avoiding the bottom list. I guess I just expected more from it. So honorable mention to that, and I'm excited for the Bone Temple.
Right, and that is funny because that is also an honorable mention for me, was 28 Years Later. And
fantastic!
So the thing about 28 Years Later, though, is that I saw 28 Days Later, like, when I was very young, like, when it first came out. Like,
it looks like it was filmed on an iPhone. Dude, it was an indie. It was a whole indie thing.
And I remember seeing it the first time and was like, this is kind of boring. And I don't think I just truly appreciated it. I'm sure it's one if I go back now and I could be like, oh, damn, they were ahead of their time. And then 28 Weeks Later, I thought was a little better in my opinion. And then, 28 Years Later, I watched it on Netflix when it came out, so I didn't see it in the theater. And the way that they marketed this, the trailer does not match up to the actual film. Because
not even in the slightest.
In the first part of the movie, it kind of does, because you get into the action and this and that, and then it just kind of, I'm not going to say it falls apart, but like you said, it's kind of in that middle range. It's in purgatory. But I'm a big trailer guy, and I think the first trailer for the Bone Temple that came out, it is just fantastic. The last shot where the fire's going around, he's just, I'm like,
I'm
give
really
me that
excited for the Bone Temple. I think it's going to probably redeem this film for me. So
and
look out for the 2026 list.
Right, and it's part of a trilogy, so and we saw this with Star Wars, the newest trilogy. Sorry to bring up bad memories for you, but
we don't talk about He Who Must Not Be Named.
Like Force Awakens, like that. I thought that was fantastic. I was like, I cannot wait for this, and then everybody got in their own way going forward, and we're throwing around way too many ideas. Anyway,
absolutely.
Okay. 28 Years Later, honorable mention for both of us. So we are off and rolling. What
off and rolling?
5?
My 5th worst horror film of the year is Fear Street Prom Queen, Netflix release.
Okay.
Was so disappointed. And let me start off by saying why. Because if you guys watched the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix, which I think it came out in 2023, they did part 1, part 2, and part 3. It's like Fear Street part 1, Fear Street part 2, Fear Street part 3. Those were so damn good. I mean, those are, if you guys are familiar with Fear Street was the series of books that R.L. Stine wrote before the Goosebumps books. So Fear Street was a little more, it was kind of teenager oriented, so they were able to get a little more racy, a little more murdery specifically than Goosebumps, which was for, younger kids. But yeah, he did the Fear Street books, took a break, did Goosebumps, and then he started writing some more Fear Street stuff. But these films harken back to those early Fear Street novels, which is it's 100%, call it high school horror. But what Netflix did when they made the movies, they made like I said, they made that trilogy. All three of them are rated R. They are very hard R's. They lean into it, which is great. I don't know. Did you watch the Fear Street trilogy,
dude? So yeah, and the way I love this, and so I never read the books. Like I was a big Goosebumps guy, but I never read the
Fear Street. Fear Street was actually before our time. I think it was like in the mid to late 80s.
Yeah,
so we weren't even around yet.
Goosebumps was right in our wheelhouse, and that was R.L. Stine for us. But yeah, no, we we made an appointment viewing, and that first one, and the way I liked it is that it was the trilogy, but they went backwards in time, and they kept that narrative going, and it kept you intrigued. Because the first one, it was
modern time,
1994.
Well, 1994 or 1997, something like that.
It has one of my favorite all-time kills in it, and I know you know which one I'm talking about. But and then the second one goes into the 70s, and that's kind of like a Jason type thing. Yeah.
Friday the 13th vibes.
Mm-hmm. And then the third one goes into
1666,
like the Salem witch trial time. Yeah. And what I like about the third one is that they bring it all back to 1994, and it ties it up in a nice little bow. And yeah, so I mean, I saw this title come up, and I was super excited for it too.
Yeah, same. Like I said, the trilogy was great. Was really excited. They're like, okay, they're making Fear Street a thing now, right? They're kind of bringing these films in. They're going to lean into the R rating. This is great. And then Prom Queen came. I think the premise is great. Anytime you get high school horror, there's a high school killer running around. We both love Scream, scary movie. It's perfect fodder. But yeah, this movie it kind of fell a little flat for me. And I don't know if that's because the trilogy was so good, my expectations were up. But this one just didn't really did it. So I'll give you a quick overview. I don't know. Did you watch this one? Did you say you didn't watch it? I'm sorry, I can't remember.
No, I watched it.
You did watch it. Okay. So a quick overview for this one.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I love that you said that. We'll see what your list looks like.
Yeah.
But again, so Fear Street again kind of takes place a little bit in the 80s. So we're in the late 80s. The senior class of the high school is preparing for prom, and our main character, Lori, is going to run for prom queen against the popular girl group. And this leans heavily into all the high school cliches, right? The popular girls, the dorky kids, the nerdy boy, all that stuff is full on in here. So she's going to run for prom queen against the kind of the most popular girl. I think her name was Tiffany. And there's 5 people running for it. But Lori, this girl who's our main character, she's kind of an outcast. She's not a popular girl. And it's not that she necessarily has done anything to be an outcast. I mean, you guys know how horrible high schoolers can be. But she has a special situation because there's rumors that her mother murdered her father. Even though she was deemed it's kind of an OJ situation. You were ruled innocent, but are you really innocent? Is 100% the thing. So she's kind of an outcast. The vice principal of the whole thing wants to sort of have the prom serve as like a reinvention because the town. The thing about the town of Shadyside, where all the Fear Street novels take place and where all the movies take place, it doesn't have a very good reputation. Murders, hauntings, ghosts, all this stuff. The town itself is just not good. So the vice principal wants this prom to reinvent the whole thing. Now, the night before prom is kind of when things kind of kick off because one of the prom queen candidates, I think her name was Christy was her name. She is stabbed and killed by a masked killer, kicking this whole thing off. So the next day, the day of the prom, our main character, Lori, goes with her best friend, Megan. And Megan, Megan's kind of funny, but she stages a prank using a copy, like a mold of Tiffany. Tiffany's the popular girl that they're running against. She stages a prank using her head, and it doesn't really go off very well, and that creates kind of a rift between her and our main character, Lori. And meanwhile, another girl and her boyfriend are mutilated and killed by our killer in the school. So throughout the day, these killings are taking place. So her and her boyfriend are killed. Lori receives flowers from an anonymous sender, before Tiffany and then Tiffany brings up all her mother's past. I'm gonna shoot through this as fast as I can. So again, if you guys are curious, definitely watch the movie. But one of the other prom queen candidates, I think her name is Debbie, and her boyfriend, they go down to the basement to do what high schoolers do when no one is looking.
Study.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad you said that.
Volunteer work.
Study.
You know?
Volunteer work. Have an oral exam, if I may.
God damn it, Dirty Mike.
I had to do it. Dirty Mike and the boys, you guys. I'm here every Sunday. While they're in the basement, our killer kills the both of them. And this was kind of a pretty cool kill because he kills Judd and then he actually electrocutes Debbie. She runs into the power room and he throws her into something and electrocutes her to death. That kills her. So again, this is the day of the prom, right? So Lori, she's fixing her makeup. They're getting ready to go. Excuse me, I'm recovering from a cold, so you'll have to forgive the coughs. So at the prom, Lori, our main character, and Tiffany, the popular girl, and this is kind of where things get a little bit silly, but remember, this is kind of a teenager-oriented murder thing. Lori and Tiffany have like a dance-off, and Lori, our main character, actually wins over the crowd, and Tiffany, the popular girl, is left kind of embarrassed. So Tiffany's boyfriend, Tyler, breaks up with her, and he goes to Lori. It's very cliche, right? It's very she's all that. Again, leaning heavily into the teenager tropes. So he goes to Lori, and Lori has always kind of had a crush on him. That's kind of the cliche thing that goes on in this movie. But again, another one of the candidates, Melissa, I think is her name, she's killed by the assailant in the changing room, and actually shows during this screen. It shows you there's actually two killers. There's two masked assailants that are killing all these people. So that kind of plays off in this scene. But anyway, while the prom is going on, Megan, you guys remember Megan, she's the one that did the prank. She goes down to the basement and she finds the bodies of Debbie and her boyfriend. I think his name was Jake or something with a J.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's a side character. It's not
He
important.
gone.
He dead. So she goes into the basement and finds their bodies. Lori and Tyler, who is Tiffany's boyfriend, who broke up with Tiffany to try to get with her, they go to the auditorium where Tyler tries to sleep with Lori, but of course our main character is like, nope, I don't want this, which is totally okay, good for her. And unfortunately, while this is happening, one of the killers, like out of the blue, out of the side of the screen, just comes in and plunges a knife right into Tyler's head, just sticks it right in there and kills him. And now we have our chase. So the killer's chasing Lori. She finds poor Megan in the basement screaming because she found the bodies that I mentioned earlier. And they both get locked inside the basement. So they're being chased through the basement. They do escape through a window, and then they rush back to the prom to tell everyone, hey, there's killers here. Everyone's got to leave. And right as she tries to tell everyone, this is kind of funny, she breaks in, starts screaming, hey, there's a killer. Everyone's got to leave. But right when she comes in, she is announced as the prom queen. So right as she's announced, clap, cue the balloons and all the streamers and the confetti. Of course, she's trying to scream and tell everybody that there's a killer. The killer arrives, starts killing people. He's killed a couple of students. Oh, I should say more than a couple. The principal is trying to stop him, and he completely severs the poor principal's arm. It just cuts it right off. But the principal lives. He doesn't die right away.
He'll need a hand.
He'll need a hand. Give the man a hand. Lori, of course, who has been crowned the prom queen, takes off her tiara. And this, I will say, this was kind of cool. She takes off her tiara and she stabs the assailant, who then she rips the mask off. And it's actually Tiffany, the popular girl's father, is the assailant. Now, things have kind of calmed down. The police arrive. They arrest him. Megan, who's not dead, she wasn't killed, she's taken to the hospital. Lori goes home, and she actually ends up staying with Tiffany, it's kind of ironic because her dad was just trying to kill her. But Tiffany apologizes to her. And Tiffany's mom, you guys can see where this is going. Tiffany's mom shows up and reveals herself as the second killer. So both of Tiffany's parents are insane. I know. Who saw that coming? So Lori and Tiffany are hiding. Tiffany tries to stab Lori, because at this point you see that Tiffany's also involved in all these killings. So it's a family of killers. You got Tiffany and both of her parents just trying to kill everyone.
Is the dog involved? Is the dog a killer?
I'm going to say, is the dog a killer too? Maybe the little brother is a killer as well.
The neighbor's a killer.
The neighbor's a killer. The whole block, everyone's just killers. But Tiffany's mom explains that she actually killed Laurie's father, not Laurie's mother, because he broke up with her for Laurie's mother when they were younger. So anyway, Laurie and this makes me think of you because I know how much you hate stairs in buildings that don't have handrails.
Fuck stairs.
But Laurie, the climax of the film, Laurie pushes Tiffany through the stairwell. She actually gets impaled on one of the decorations below. Now Tiffany's dead. And then Tiffany's mom and Laurie kind of have a brief fight, but Laurie beats her in the head with like a trophy and then runs. And Nancy dies. And it's kind of cool because as she's dying, her blood on the floor forms the witch's mark, which ties into the Fear Street trilogy, specifically Fear Street Part 3, takes place in 1666, like you said earlier about the Salem witch trials. Her blood forms a mark from that film, and then cue the end of the movie. So, kind of ran it through there, but the premise is there. The writing is what it should be. It doesn't want to take itself completely seriously. This movie really gives off heavy Scream vibes, of course. But yeah, I wasn't impressed with the execution of it. I think it had too much going on, particularly as it got to the end. You have your suspension of disbelief, but then it turns out, like we said, the father's a killer, and the mom's a killer, and the daughter's a killer. You just kind of be like, I'm losing interest in how this could actually happen. So you could call it worth a watch. Like I said, it's number 5 on the ones that I watched this year. Just didn't do it for me. So my number 5 pick is Fear Street.
And I agree with your breakdown there of it. However, I will call you out on one thing. Don't you ever compare this to Scream, ever again.
You guys see what I did there? Did you see his face when I said that?
Yeah, he knows how to push my buttons. So, which I know how to push his too. So that's all good. All right. So
that's why it's fun. That's why it's a fun time. I will say, shout out to Chris Klein from American Pie fame for being the killer in this film. We haven't seen him in a minute.
Absolutely. Yeah, we love him. Absolutely. All right, my number 5. This one might be a little divisive because I think it was hailed by critics in a positive light. But I'm going to go with Clown in a Cornfield at number 5. And it's ironic because this one also ended up on our original episode.
Our first episode, wasn't it?
We did a spinny wheel of like, what was it, like 20 movies that we thought were worth a damn in 2025. Yeah.
Our inaugural episode.
Right. And I think this more speaks to the quality of horror. Because obviously I didn't read the book, Clown in a Cornfield. That's what it's based off of. So I went in blind, didn't know the twist, didn't know anything like that. I was just severely disappointed because, as a horror fan, I'm like, fuck yeah, a clown chasing people through a cornfield? Like, what more can I want? One of my biggest fears in life is being stuck in a cornfield. That, the deep woods, and a tornado. And being stuck in the deep ocean. Like, if I'm just stuck somewhere and I have no help, and put a clown in there too. And the trailers hooked me in right away. I was so excited for it, and it just left me just disappointed. Brief breakdown of this one is and I'm not even going to go into as much detail as you did because it's number 5 on my list. I didn't pay too much attention on it after the fact. I saw it a long time ago too. I want to say it was early 2025 actually, but this one basically takes place in a small town, and it's this daughter and her dad moved to this town, and you can tell right off the bat that the townspeople are not crazy about the youth in the town,
say the least.
Yeah, and of course they she starts making these friends, and she's told by everybody like, don't be friends with them. Don't get stuck into their, shenanigans, because they're running like a YouTube channel where they take this clown Friendo, who is a town icon. He so they do pranks with him essentially. And there's one cool scene in this where they're shooting a prank, on the new girl, and it's revealed it's one of the friends is playing Friendo, and then but when you look at the camera and you can see in the way back there's another clown figure back there, so you're like, oh shit. And basically, typical slasher, Friendo goes around killing these kids, and there's some pretty cool kills in here. But it's when you get to the climax of the film, and if you haven't seen it, because it is worth a watch. These are the top of our list, I guess, if we're going backwards. So they're right on the fringe here. It was just kind of forgettable to me. But so if you want to see it, stop listening to this little segment now. Come back in like 5 minutes. But it ends up being that the entire the elders of the town, the adults, are all kind of involved in being friendo, because there's a scene where they're attacking the kids and there's like 27 friendos, and that's where it really lost me. Was I like the traditional, like 1, maybe 2, even 3 killers is okay with me, but when you get like the whole town involved, I just don't think it was presented in the right way. I don't think that they revealed it in a very suspenseful way where I'm just like, oh my god, just like prom night, prom street,
yeah,
fear prom night street.
Right, say it 5 times fast.
Right. Yeah, sorry, prom night's a different horror movie, but yes, Fear Street Prom Night. Prom night.
You could throw them all in a blender and they would all come out as whole movies if one part was intermingled, because it's all the same thing.
Right, exactly. So it was kind of like that, where it's like the reveal is just like, eh. And then, I mean, there's some funny one-liners in here, but it was, if a horror movie could have one sin that I think is the worst, is that it's forgettable. And I did not think about this movie until we decided we were going to do this format for this. And, I was putting together I actually saw the list of 2025 movies and I was like, oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah. Okay. It's forgettable. Yeah. That's going to go right at number 5 on my list. But there's more of a backstory as to why the adults are doing this. And I'm sure the book dives into it a lot more, but if you're just seeing it on a movie level, it just didn't hit for me. I know it's going to hit for some people out there, since it was pretty well received critically. One for me, man. One for me. So that's where I'm going to go with number 5, and you go number 4.
All right, this one, I'm curious to see if this pisses you off. But number 4 for me, number 4 for me is actually I Know What You Did Last Summer, the remake. Just wasn't feeling it. And I think this is probably built up because there is, and you'll agree with me on this one, I think a lot of our love of horror and where a lot of classic horror films came, specifically in the late 90s, starting with Scream, the original I Know What You Did Last Summer kind of felt in that wheelhouse, right? So I think we have kind of a rose-tinted, nostalgic idea about it.
I will hop in here real quick and tell you that this does not piss me off. You put this on this list. But a big reason for that is because I was never a huge I Know What You Did Last Summer fan. It's kind of like,
you're a Scream guy.
Exactly. I feel like it's like, NSYNC versus Backstreet Boys, Edward versus whatever the hell the other guy's name was in Twilight.
Edward and team
Jacob?
That's it.
Okay.
Team Jacob.
Edward and Jacob. Yeah. I feel like you had to pick one side. Now, I mean, obviously I've seen all the movies, because I do like that cast. I mean, it's half the Scooby-Doo cast, for Christ's sake. Come on.
I mean, yeah. Come on. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Huh? And then if Matthew Lillard wanted to do a crossover from Scream over there, then
let's go, baby. Let's go. I'm feeling a little woozy.
Yeah. So I always have enjoyed the cast of it, and the general idea I think is really, really creepy, and really it makes for a fun slasher. And like even the fisherman as the killer, like I think like that's a really unique idea, because you're always looking for that, because anyone can just put on a mask. You got to make it memorable. So in that sense, it was memorable. And
everyone's terrified of the Hook, because we're all scared of the Hook, the urban legend, the Hook. So he's using this big fisherman's hook to kill. Like that's pretty cool.
Right. And it's just, I think it goes back to A, didn't have high hopes for it. B, kind of thought it was unnecessary, because Scream did the reboot thing, kind of the requel, I guess they call it.
And they did it well.
They did it so well. And so it's kind of just like, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Okay. And there's some cool kills in here too. Like it is a well shot movie, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's. I will let you, since it's your pick, I will let you talk about it. But I would like the ending is really where I was just like,
sure, that's where it's forgettable. It completely lost me. I disagree. I mean, you have to have seen the original I Know What You Did Last Summer, obviously, if you're going to watch the remake, right? You need to know exactly what's going on, because they're going to rehash some of the characters. But this takes place, of course, the original took place, was it 97, 98, somewhere in the late 90s? Yeah, 97. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This takes place modern day, July 4th, it starts July 4th, 2024, and then it takes place the following summer. So essentially, if you guys know the story of I Know What You Did Last Summer, the original, it's a bunch of high school friends who accidentally maybe kill someone, and instead of it's a car accident. Instead of saying something and turning them in, they all decide to make a pact to cover it up, and then they all start getting killed one by one the next year. And they got a note that says, "I know what you did last summer," obviously referencing the killing they tried to cover up. So pretty much the exact same scenario here. Our new protagonist, Danica, comes back Ava. Is it Ava or Danica? I can't remember.
Ava.
Ava, Danica.
Yeah, Danica's a friend.
Yes, Danica's the one that's getting married.
Right.
Yes. So Ava is actually our protagonist. Ava returns to she's from the same town that the killings from 1997 took place. Obviously, she wasn't alive at the time. This is almost 30 years later. But on July 4th, 2024, she comes back home to it's a town in North Carolina called Southport, and her friends are having an engagement party for her friend Danica, who's getting married. And so they're going to drive out to see some fireworks. Unfortunately, while they're parked on a winding cliffside road, one of the friends, Teddy, causes a car who's driven by another friend, to swerve off a cliff. Again, it's very similar to the last movie. He swears all of them to secrecy. They're like, we're not going to say anything about this. We're not going to say what happened to anybody. His father's a politician and helps him cover up the accident. And Danica and him break up. So that's kind of how the movie starts. That's what they did, right? They're covering up a killing. And a year later, Ava comes home again for Danica's bridal shower for her wedding to another fiance. Ava meets a true crime podcaster, Tyler, who's been in Southport doing research for the killing spree conducted by the fishermen from the original movie. And suffice to say, killings start happening again. So first, Danica's new fiance, I think his name was Wyatt, he's killed by a hook-wielding fisherman who resembles the exact same killer from the first movie. Suffice to say, some of the exact same beats from the first film happen. All the friends start dying off. We run into Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr., who are survivors from the original one, because they were being hunted by that killer then. They both lived. But yeah, they run into her. She is kind of she's the Nev Campbell of the Scream franchise in this movie, right? She's like, oh, this happened to us, back in '97. It was the fisherman then. I'm going to help you see if you can figure out who it is. They meet up with Freddie Prinze, whose name is Ray. He's running a bar in town. But again, some of the same story beats are hit. All you need to know is all the friends start getting killed off. This one has a bit of a twist ending to me, and I actually didn't see it coming because I didn't think they would do this to one of the main characters of the first film. But you guys can learn that one of the friends, actually, her name is Sam. She just got out of drug rehab. She ends up being the killer. But we also learned that Freddie Prinze Jr., Ray, is also a killer. He's helping. And it's like, you guys are going to take one of the main characters from the original film and make him a killer in this one? Like, I don't really buy that. But ultimately, Ray is his name. He's revealing that he followed in the footsteps of the old killer, and he took Stevie as his partner. It ended up well because Stevie was actually together with the guy that they killed the last summer. She was dating him. But Ray is pissed off because basically he wants to take revenge in the town because they tried to cover up his life's ruin, over the 1997 killings. Like, it just ruined his life and he doesn't like it. So all that to say, of course, they kill Ray. They shoot him with a spear gun and kill him. Sam gets killed. The two, Ava and Danica both survive. And they learn that
Danica washes up on shore.
Yeah, Danica washes up on shore because they had shot her off a boat. And they learn that Stevie is still alive. I said she was dead earlier. They learned that she's actually still alive. Julie, Jennifer Love Hewitt from the first film, she gets another damn note that says it isn't over. It just doesn't tie up well for me. I don't like that they made Freddie Prinze into a killer. Like, you lost me with all that stuff. I just wasn't feeling it.
And I'm with you. I didn't like how they did it, why they did it. Seems super unnecessary to put Ray in that spot. I mean, they try to say his motivations because the town basically pushed it under the rug, what he went through and his trauma and everything. So on that sense, you can kind of get behind it, but it just seemed like a shock twist for shock twist, and it was not shocking in a good way. I do like the general idea of this. I'm not against making a legacy character go down this path. My long-standing Scream conspiracy theory is that Gail has been behind a few of these. Because I do think it could fit her character well.
Okay.
Maybe not now that we're getting to like Scream 7. I thought, like,
I was gonna say, because she gets assaulted in the last one.
Well, because in Scream 4, she has the meeting with one of the eventual killers, and you don't know it at the time, and she's going to help them out, and she gets stabbed in her shoulder, I think, and who ends up being the killer in that also gets a matching one in the shoulder, and they both don't know, but it just seemed weird to me. I'm like, I think Gail knows more than she's letting on there, so I'm not against that twist if it's done correctly. It was not done correctly here. What I did like about this one, though, that did give it a tad bit of redeeming quality was the mid-credits scene, because Jennifer Love Hewitt does go and track down Brandy.
Yeah.
from I know
I still know what you did last
summer, which, I mean, we could talk about that forever. You got Jack Black and
yeah.
that
100%.
That one's interesting, but not in a good way. Yeah, so I kind of like that, but it's like, you just did this Freddie Prinze, like, I'm not buying a ticket to see whatever. I'll always still know what you did last summer if that comes out.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you there. So yeah, I'm not pissed off at you. I'd never be pissed off at you. Come on.
Except
for if you compare Scream to Prom Night, but whatever. So my number 4 was actually Fear Street Prom Night.
Okay.
So
right
so we were kind of close there, a little bit there. So I totally get that. I don't really have much more to say on that, other than the fact that it was just a letdown, and that's where I'm at on that. It, like I said, fun kills. If it wasn't if it was just a standalone movie, just called like a way they could have done this is just call it like, yeah, maybe Prom Queen, and then at the end, you know, the blood forms that symbol, and you're like, oh shit, this is connected to Fear Street. Like that probably would have helped it out. Although I don't know how many people would have watched it if it didn't have that Fear Street attached to it, because the original trilogy was so damn good. And
absolutely,
like there's a montage in the first one where they're going through the shady side, bad luck, I guess, because of course on the other side of the street, it's
all the shit that has happened. Yeah, that's one of the running jokes in the books, is that you have Shady Side, and then the other town, which is Sunnyside. Sunnyside is the place where all the good things happen. It's just like blessed by God, and then Shady Side is where the devil works.
Right. So it's again, didn't do much for me. And if there's anything you can say, is do not be forgettable, because I Know What You Did Last Summer was also forgettable.
Yeah, just didn't do anything enough to make me remember it.
Right. Cool. So let's go number 3.
So number 3, I actually was very interested that you mentioned this in our opening crawl, but The Strangers Chapter 2 is actually the third word, is number 3 for me. I don't know how familiar you listeners are with the original Stranger film. And I'm going to stick with the original Strangers film, not the. They did a sequel that kind of didn't really do much. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really land. But the original is very good.
Night.
Yes, Pray at Night. The original, of course, with Liv Tyler and the guy, I can't even remember the guy, Scott Speedman. Scott Speedman's his name. He was also in Underworld. Is a fantastic horror film. Damn, is it good. It's nice and creepy. The tension is there. So when they announced a new trilogy, I'm like, you know what? I'm here for it. That was a premise that wasn't really, they didn't do enough with it, I thought. So I was really excited they're going to bring out a new trilogy. I didn't mind the new Strangers. I think you said earlier that you didn't really like it that much. It was kind of shit to you, but I didn't think it was terrible. It didn't do much for me. I wouldn't, if I made a list of the 5 worst films from that year, I don't think I'd have that in it. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. All that said, Chapter 2 is kind of a shit show. Again, just kind of expounding on what happened in the first one. This one to me doesn't really move the story forward that much. I'm going to stay kind of light on the details here, because at some point you might pull it up and might want to watch it. But suffice to say that in this one, excuse me, Santa Claus brought me a cold, you guys. I want to give that gift back. But, you know,
was it Bill Goldberg Santa, or was it Dave Harbour Santa?
Dave Harbour. Basically, we have Maya Lucas, who survived the first film. She's kind of recovering in her hospital. following her encounter with our 3 masked killers. And that, again, that's kind of the cool thing about these films. You don't really find out who the killers are. They're masked the whole time. That's kind of the scary piece of it. Basically, all of her claims of what happened in the first film, they're just kind of brushed off by the sheriff. He's like, yeah, whatever. Which is always strange to me when they just disbelieve the only survivor from a massacre like that, when it's very clear that something significant has happened. She kind of brushes off, says, yeah, nothing happened. Just kind of brush off all her claims. Is recovering in a hospital, and she actually finds herself trapped in this hospital, and the same strangers are pursuing her after they discover that she's alive. They realize that she didn't die after the first movie, so they're kind of portraying her. So this movie has a lot to do with them continuing to stalk Maya. She does get out of the hospital. She comes across a horse farm, and that's the other thing. This film is her kind of on the run. So she leaves the hospital. She comes across a horse farm. She seeks help from the owner, but of course, the strangers naturally kill the owner. So she leaves the horse farm, and she meets another guy. She flags someone down, a nurse and her roommate, and they agree to take her to her house. And but of course, on the drive, they encounter some other people who may not be who you think they are. Hint, hint, hint. A lot of death in this one. A lot more people that Maya just randomly encounters who end up dead because these people are stalking her. She does get away. She gets to a new cabin, changes clothes. She's found by a state police officer who tries to help her, but guess what happens to the state police officer? He also dies. So again, I don't want to talk too much about the climax here. Again, I'm going to kind of leave it up to you if you want to decide if you want to watch it at some point. But suffice to say that, again, I don't feel the story's really moving in a direction that's interesting to me. It's not really moving anything forward. Again, the suspension of disbelief is kind of weird. It's like, how long are these people just going to chase this one girl and kill everyone around her and never get around to killing her? And then it takes the cliche trope of this person who's hunted for long enough is going to kind of turn the tables and start hunting the hunters. So that's kind of the direction that it goes in. We'll see if they do anything more. But yeah, just didn't do enough for me. I didn't feel like it was good. It wasn't that scary, really. I mean, the premise itself is scary, but after you live through one encounter with people who are just stalking you at home, and then come to find out they haven't stopped, and they're going to stalk you to the hospital, and they're going to stalk you when you leave the hospital, and they're going to stalk you when you start to get to a point where it's like, there's a lot of opportunities here for her to actually do something about this. So didn't really do it for me. Strangers Chapter 3 is number 3.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't even bother seeing Strangers Chapter 2. I felt like the first one, it's that old joke. It's like, I do what he does, just worse.
That's spot on.
When it's going to the original, because the original, and I think I brought it up on a previous episode, but that was one where I saw it with Mike, not Dirty Mike, but Mike, and he was doing the clown honk in the theater, and it's a core horror memory for me, just because like that was one for the longest time where like it truly did scare me, because like you're out isolated. There's these and the fact, just that last line of the movie, like why are you doing this? Because you were home.
Because you were home.
That's scary, man.
That's like, terrifying.
Yeah, and I feel like they tried to like drive that point home. It's like, no, we've seen this, and that's what made the first one so great. Is that we've seen home invasion horror movies, but not necessarily as simplistic as that and as effective as that. Like the scene where Liv Tyler's at the place alone, and she's in the kitchen, and you just see Baghead or whatever his name is, just like
terrifying,
goes into the corner there.
That's terrifying.
And that was just great. And there's some really good jump scares in there. And the music is fantastic in that one. It's an all-time classic for me. So I was extremely disappointed with the Chapter 1.
And I will say you can do a lot with a little. And they did that great to The Strangers, because so many movies, they lean on it just being a kill fest. We're going to kill this person, and we're going to kill this person, and now this person gets that. The Strangers, they're terrifying just 2 people. And if I remember correctly, I haven't seen it in such a long time. Really, I think there's only 2 deaths in that movie. It's when their friend shows up and he accidentally shoots him because he thinks it's one of them. That might be even and then he live? Does he die?
And then even the jump scare at the very end where Liv Tyler, you think she's dead, and then she just like screams at the little boy, and just the way it's presented. And I thought like they made it like emotional, because the whole movie starts out with they're coming back from I believe it's his brother's wedding. And
he has clearly proposed to her, and she said nope.
She has denied him, and so they get back to the cabin. They're not saying a word, and he is like picking up the rose petals off the floor.
He's like,
and
what do we do from here? Yeah, what do we do from here? You said no. Like, are we together? Are we not together? What?
They get thrown into this nightmare, and it just hit on all aspects. So that's why I was I was furious with Strangers Chapter 1, to be perfectly honest. And then finding out that it's a trilogy. So, like, I watched the trailer for Chapter 2, and I'm like, no, I'm not wasting my time with that. And then I think in a week or so from the time we're recording this, I think the Chapter 3 trailer comes out. So I'll have to just defer to you on if that one's worth a damn. But the fact that they have gone through with this, because it has tanked at the box office. Like, people are...
This one didn't do well.
Yes. Yeah. So, the fact that...
And it's recent. It came out, I think, at the end of September is when I saw this one.
Yeah. So, like, I give them props for continuing, even though it's clearly going to go down as a pretty massive loss for all three films. I think the first one did okay because people were intrigued. And
we'll see if they can round third, but I think they've lost so much goodwill that it's just like, who's going to go see it?
Like, how much... what do they need to do? Like, I feel like it has to be, like, a damn near perfect movie, and that might not even be enough. I agree with you there. It probably would have ended up on my list had I seen it, but that would be cheating. I didn't go out and, because obviously there's lists out there like, these are the worst horror movies of the year, and I'm like, I'm not just going to watch this to see if I hate it. I watch these
because you go into it with an expectation that you're not going to like it, and that's not what you want to do.
Right. So I'm sure there's a lot of movies out there that are absolutely, like, going through the list, there's like Bambi the Reckoning. It's like, no, I didn't watch that. I'm sure that would have been horrible too, but or maybe it wouldn't have been. I don't know. But we do have a lot of the same taste, because my number 3 is I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I'll be damned. You guys, full disclosure, we did not go over these with each other before. Like, this is amazing.
Nope. That one, it's just the ending. And even if you take the ending out of it, like, let's say Freddie Prinze is coming back for the sequel, whatever, and he's not a bad guy, he's just normal. The killer was stupid. And it was a retread of the original, and it's like, at least when Scream came back and did the requel, they played into that. It was meta. It was, hey, we survived this before, so let's go over here and talk to these guys. This is like, really, you kill someone like on a same stretch of highway. You do the same thing where you cover it up, and you don't want to go to jail. If you want a good reboot of I Know What You Did Last Summer, just watch Scary Movie and watch those scenes, because it's fantastic. It's so funny. It's so good.
Oh, man! Bobby, look at my car, man. My dad's gonna freak.
I didn't see it. It came out of nowhere.
Oh my God, we hit a boat!
Where's the foot? Put him down, it's heavy. Jesus. Okay, look. On 3, we dump him over the ledge, all right?
Wait. Shouldn't we at least check his wallet? For what?
Well, shit, he might have some money. We already committed murder. We might as well rob his ass.
All you need to do.
Right. So, number 3, I Know What You Did Last Summer. That ends up on both. We have 2 that ended up on the same list. And as this list is going, I'm getting more of a feeling about what your number 1's going to be. And I got to tell you, I think it's probably going to be my number 2.
I'll be damned.
So let's get to your number 2.
Okay, this is so hilarious, Ryan. This is really funny. My number 2 is Bambi the Reckoning. Did you see the smile on my face as soon as you said that? You just mentioned it, and I started smiling because I was like, "Oh, I'm going to talk about that just a minute."
How does it not get number 1? I don't know, but
because number 1 is so GD bad.
Okay. Well, then I might actually. Now I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay. It's getting interesting now. Okay, tell me about Bambi, because I didn't see it.
Okay, so you guys might not. Well, let me preface this a little bit. So you guys may know a lot of Disney IPs have entered the public domain in the last 5 years. It started out with Winnie the Pooh. So Winnie the Pooh entered the public domain in 2022. And if you guys don't know what that means, it means the licensing and the copyrights and the IP rights as an exclusive ownership to it. When they enter the public domain, whoever owns it no longer owns the rights to make content with it. Does that make sense? So Winnie the Pooh was owned by Disney 100 years. That's what copyright law is. I'm sure that's going to change soon, because Mickey Mouse was also going to enter the public domain, and I think it actually did enter the public domain. But obviously,
because there's a horror movie made it. It was,
there is, yep.
Steamboat or Screamboat.
It was based off of Steamboat Willie, yeah. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Disney's not going to let Mickey Mouse not be copyrighted, right? He's kind of their number 1 mascot. So, but ultimately, Winnie the Pooh entered the public domain. There were 2 Winnie the Pooh horror movies made. Blood and Honey was one of them. It has Winnie the Pooh. It has Piglet. They in their habitat,
like rabbit animals.
Yeah, rabbit animals. So same thing for Bambi. Bambi entered the public domain this last year. So of course, a horror movie was made called Bambi: The Reckoning. And the basic premise of this is it follows the story of Bambi and that he's living happily with his mother until his mother is killed by a poacher. And the story kind of takes a different direction than the Disney movie in that Bambi, unfortunately, he grows up alone. You know, in the movie, or actually the Disney movie, he obviously goes to live with his father. But no, he grows up alone. He does meet a doe named Faline, and I shouldn't say married because deer don't get married. She becomes his mate.
Possibly know that they don't get married. How could you possibly know that?
I'd love to see a deer wedding ceremony. What the vows are. I vow to remain with you and not father any other fawns, and protect you.
I promise I will do my best not to get shot by random poachers in the opening scene.
She gives birth to a fawn, so Bambi's a dad now. They do teach all their kids about how the world is a bad place. You know, there's dangers in it, all that stuff. And sadly, Faline, his mate, is run over by a truck that's carrying toxic waste from a pharmaceutical company. And I don't remember what the pharmaceutical company name. It's like WebX or WebX something, W something, a pharmaceutical company. And when this happens, his child disappears and runs off. And Bambi, again, it's carrying these pharmaceuticals, right? Bambi ends up drinking water from a river that is contaminated by this pharmaceutical company, and he mutates into a ravenous creature. And he's determined to get his revenge on everyone that has wronged him in life. So that's kind of the premise of the movie. In the present day, a mother, and there's a lot of weird names in this. I think the mother's name was Xana, and her son was Benji. And there's a ton of other just not important people in this film. Suffice to say, Xana and her son are taking a taxi to visit her husband and her mother. His dementia-stricken mother. And on the way, you know, they're trying to get up here, and they run into a lot of side characters, and Bambi kills them all. He kills the taxi driver. He starts killing all the side characters. Some of the side characters get together and they're gonna hunt Bambi. They've heard of him before. He's kind of this mutant dude that's been stalking the forest for so many years. They're gonna go hunt him because he's hunting them. Bambi loses a lot of them, he kills a lot of them. There's a lot of kind of cool deaths in this film because again, it's a B movie that kind of leans into what it's trying to do. It's just be ridiculous. There's this one death where some of the characters are trying to drive away. And one of the characters is actually dragged behind the car, and he gets dragged to his death, and it's kind of a cool scene. You know, Bambi does a lot of kills, like he gores a couple of guys. Bambi's not the only mutant in the forest. I should just say this: like some of the rabbits, think Thumper and all of Thumper's brood, they're actually mutated as well because they drink from the same river. So one of the scenes, a guy is mauled to death by a group of mutated rabbits, a la Compsognathus in the Lost World Jurassic Park. It's very reminiscent of that scene. Yeah, this movie was just completely silly. And I'm okay with completely silly horror films. Like Scary Movie is obviously up there. The Scary Movie franchise, they're completely silly and they're funny. This was just stupid. I mean, it's kind of I won't go so far as to call it a hate watch, but it's one of those you just want to see what it's all about, and I was not impressed. I mean, Bambi kills a bunch of people. He does get shot at the end. But the guy that shoots him gets killed by the mother of the main character who has dementia. It's just really stupid. He bleeds out to death in front of his own fawn, and his offspring kind of comes back in. It's again, there's no point in this film. It's really stupid.
It's a cash grab.
It's a cash grab. There's nothing about it that you would say like, oh, this looks, they're actually doing something cool with it. But similar to the Winnie the Pooh horror film, it's just like, oh, what's the weirdest thing we can do to a beloved character who's a Disney character who has entered the public domain? Let's make a horror film out of it.
Right. They've also really done stupid. It with, I think they did it with Popeye and The Grinch. There's one called The Mean One. It's a evil horror version take on The Grinch.
Really?
And I think with Bambi, I'll have to go back and see if it was actually called the same thing, The Reckoning, but they did an SNL skit on it about a live action Bambi, and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, plays Bambi, and he's like smoking a cigarette and he's got a 12 gauge.
That would be more interesting than this film was.
Who the hell are you? I'm Bambi.
From the director of Furious 7 comes a new Disney classic on Overdrive, Bambi.
I don't really have anything good to say about this film. It was just stupid.
Well, hey, that's why it's number 2 on your list. All right. Bambi, okay. My number 2, and this one pains me to put on here, and I went back and forth on it a lot, but I kept thinking about it in a major negative way. And it still hurts me that it went this way, because this franchise I love, you love it. We did a whole fucking episode on it. But it is Hell House LLC Lineage. And it is number 2. It is
controversy. Controversy.
And I think the biggest reason is just why. Why do you go away from a tried and true format and Stephen Cognetti does it so well. And he did another horror film this year, and it wasn't found footage, but it was still great. It was 825 Forest Road. I don't know if you saw that one, but that one I thought was pretty solid. I was like, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but so I was just like, I was so psyched to watch Hell House LLC Lineage, even though it was going to take a departure from the found footage roots. I was like, you know what, it might be. And there was like the one scene where fucking Bob the Clown is in the in the carnival game area, and I thought that was really creepy, but then it just like it died from there. It lost my interest so quickly. It was painful going through that. So I'm not going to get too much into the plot there. Obviously it's part of this whole series that we love. Check out the episode we did on it, because it's one of my favorite episodes that we did was the Hell House LLC series, because the other films in this are so damn good. They bring something new to the table each time. They have this great formula, this great backstory. This leans way too much into it. There are way too many plot lines on this. There's characters where I was just like, who the fuck are you? Like, are you supposed to be related to this person? This person? It was way too much work for the audience on what they should be able to expect, considering no one is just fumbling upon LLC Lineage. They're not. It's just not going to happen. And if they did, then they'd be even more lost than people that knew what the hell was going on. So again, and that pains me to put that on there, because that's like if we do this next year and Scream 7 is on there. Like, I hope that doesn't happen.
God forbid. I
am so like, that's how disappointed I was on this. And it fluctuated on the list, but I landed at number 2 on it. And I know it wasn't your favorite as well. I don't know if it's an honorable mention for you for one of the worst, but
yeah, I watched a lot of like deep Shudder cuts this year, because I was on a body horror kick, like in May or June.
You sick fuck!
I know. We're gonna just so you guys know, we are gonna do a worst of body horror films. We talked about them a little bit in the grossest movies that we've ever seen. Suffice to say, we will do a worst body horror film, and a lot of the ones that I watched are going to be on there. But there's a lot of just trash that I saw this year that I was like, what can I watch tonight? That kind of fell in that range. And Lineage, I was just definitely disappointed. But the ones that I'm talking about tonight are definitely the worst of the worst. So I don't think Lineage quite fell that far.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want the whole plot breakdown for Lineage, I urge you to go check out the Hell House LLC episode. It is a long one, but it's a damn good one. Like I said, it's one of my favorites. But I guess before we get to our top picks, if we thought of any more honorable mentions, I have a couple. I'm going to go Death of a Unicorn, because it is not a true horror movie. It's labeled as a horror movie. It's fine. It's funny. Not bad enough to get on this list, but definitely not one that I'm going to think about going further. Another one that almost made this list for me was Him. And that is another one that ended up on our inaugural episode. And this one, it was on there for different reasons, basically because the ending felt completely flat. I thought it was a perfect movie through two acts. And then that third act happened, and it's just like, and that can't take away from Marlon Wayans and how he acted in it. And obviously, it's a football horror movie. What more can you want? I love that. But that's an honorable mention for me. Any others for you that you're thinking of?
Yeah, this is. I won't call this a deep cut, but I don't know if you actually seen or even heard of this one. The Woman in the Yard.
I've heard of it. I saw the trailer for it. I stayed away from that one mainly because I believe it's also based on a book, and I saw one review. This is before we thought about doing the podcast and whatnot, and so I would read a lot of reviews, and that would scare me away from some. This is one that had scared me away basically because they're just like, you know, if you like a movie where a lady just takes a step every, 10 minutes,
exactly.
This is
like
for you. Yeah.
The premise of the film in and of itself is very scary, but it just never pays off. They never do anything with it. So the premise of the film is basically it's a family, a woman and her 2 kids are grieving the loss of the father, the husband. Unfortunately, they're basically, they live in a farmhouse, kind of isolated. And the premise of the movie is they are tormented supernaturally, but paranormally, by a mysterious, shrouded woman, and that's all that happens. And like you said, it's a slow burn. They're trying to lean really heavy into the emotional metaphors of what's happening, loss and grief and all those things. But unfortunately, it moves at such a slow pace that nothing really hits. Nothing hits hard enough for you to actually feel it. It takes too long to really heat up. And I'm telling you this, if you're not watching it in a theater, I did not watch it in a theater, I watched it at home, you are going to be on your phone looking for something else to do, and you're going to be so distracted. There's a lack of closure in this film. Yeah, that's the worst thing you could do for a horror film, because the tension that's building up to do it for you. This one just doesn't do it. Stay away.
Well, I remember watching the trailer, and I thought hey, that woman looks really creepy. And I think she even says in the trailer, she's like, "Today's the day." And I'm like, "Oh shit, this looks." And then then you read the reviews, and you're just like, "Okay, it's awful." Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Woman. Any others you can think of?
Those are the top 2 that come to mind.
Cool.
A lot of the other ones that I watched, like I said, I was watching kind of through. They weren't 2025 films. They're films that are super old. There's a lot of trash in there. So
right.
Those are kind of the top 2 honorable mentions.
Okay, so I got an idea for our top pick. Do you have a piece of paper handy?
I do.
Okay, so why don't you write yours? I've already written mine, and then we show it at the same time, so then we're not talking over each other.
Love that idea.
And I will tell you guys, my handwriting looks like a 3-year-old, so don't judge me on it.
Same.
So, well, maybe you can judge who has better handwriting. I don't know.
There you go. Well, now I'm going to write it very, very beautifully.
Well, no, damn it.
All right, I'm going to write it down. We'll reveal it at the same time.
Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this when we do this. I'll try and hold it close to the camera and we'll see. But man, I'm so excited. This is nerve-wracking.
Now, just to preface, some might not call this a true horror film, but it is supposed to be scary and thrilling. So
okay,
that's why I'm going with it.
I'm not giving you anything on this, and I doubt a lot of you even heard of this one, so that's why I'm excited to talk about it. So, okay, 1,
ready when you
2, 3, reveal. Oh no!
It doesn't work. That's fucking hilarious.
And that's how you know this is unscripted, because that was, I think maybe you saw one letter of mine, and then it's like, oh my god, we disappeared.
Here, we can turn our backgrounds off for this. Hold on.
Well, I don't know if mine's going to come back. That's the thing.
Good point. Don't do that then.
Okay.
Okay, you didn't see mine then.
You didn't see mine, so you know what? Screw it. You talk. What's your number?
2, 1. War of the Worlds.
Match.
How about that?
Yeah. Okay.
So my worst, and not only was this, I think, the first worst horror / thriller film, this is the worst film of the year. This is so bad. I mean, I don't even have much to say about it because I don't remember, because nothing happens in this film. Number 1, this is just a giant. So War of the Worlds, if you guys are familiar with the original War of the Worlds, a story by H.G. Wells, I think it's a great classic. Again, maybe not so much horror as much as sci-fi, but kind of scary. It's meant to be.
It's creepy as hell.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's supposed to be. The original's great. They did a remake with Tom Cruise, I think, in 2005, which wasn't bad. That was a cool remake.
That was good, except for Dakota Fanning screaming in my ear.
Dakota Fanning screaming the whole thing. Oh my goodness.
I love the radio play. That is my favorite.
Orson, you guys may not know, Orson Welles did a radio play of this back in the 30s or the 40s, is when it came out, 30s or 40s, and it didn't induce mass hysteria, but he did it in such a great way that people were like, "Is this really happening? Is this actually happening?" People were
I think they
were
actually
terrified.
made a movie about the radio broadcast, and they made it dramatic. So like, there's like a family that's about to like, the dad's gonna like mercy kill his kids because they don't want him to. He doesn't want the aliens to take him. And yeah, you guys can find the radio broadcast on YouTube.
It's so well done.
It's expertly done.
It's kind of one of the media broadcast like hallmarks. I mean, it's a landmark event that happened in media.
Well, and they had mentioned, I think at the very beginning, it's like this is a radio play, but they never mentioned it after that. So people did think that like
people tuning in
are we being attacked? Yeah.
Yep.
So it was it's very creepy if you listen to it, especially it has like that really old feel, and
it's one of those fun ones. Like fall asleep to it, turn it on, put it on YouTube, put the brightness down, and kind of fall asleep to it. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, this remake with Ice Cube is just it's garbage. You guys have probably seen the meme, or if you're scrolling TikTok or YouTube Reels or something, you've seen the meme with Ice Cube just being like, ah! Like that's what this film is from. That's what it's from. This film. I mean, I have nothing good to say about it. Number one, it's just a giant ad placement. It's an Amazon film. Amazon promoted it, produced it, paid for it. It's just like you guys, if you play video games, like EA is notorious for just putting ads in all their games, and it's just trash. That's what this film. Yeah, it's a big game. That's what this film is. It's like Amazon. It's an Amazon ad. It's just a big Amazon ad. Like one of the characters is an Amazon delivery driver. I say one of the characters because 95% of this film takes place with Ice Cube sitting at a computer. I mean, I don't have anything good to say about it. It's boring. I don't even have I can hardly give you a plot synopsis. I mean, the plot synopsis for War of the Worlds in general is that aliens are invading Earth and taking over. And that is the premise here. But again, it's Ice Cube plays a guy who he monitors a security system that can look at anyone, anywhere. And he follows his daughter and his daughter's boyfriend, his daughter's husband. And I mean, I don't have anything good to say about it. It's so stupid. Don't waste your time watching it. I can't even get into it because it's so dumb.
And it's funny that that's the one thing, because this also falls into the same as Bambi for me, because I had seen everybody talking about how trash it was and how boring it was, and so I stayed away, or else it probably would have been number one on my list too. Yeah, because
so stupid.
I think it had like 2% on Rotten Tomatoes or something. Like it was horribly, and like I've seen the memes and I like Ice Cube. I love him in movies. I think he's great. And our episode on Friday is actually about Anaconda, and we will inevitably talk about the original Anaconda as it correlates to this one. And obviously that was one of Ice Cube's one of his earlier movies, but he is a solid actor. It's just everything I heard on this is it's like, what was he doing? How much did he get paid for this? It's
just trash on trash on. This is so I was telling you guys that the movie I chose, I can't even think of the name. What was my last one? Number 2, Bambi. Yeah. The woman in waiting.
Woman in the Yard. Yeah.
Woman in the Yard. Sorry. If that was boring and I was telling you guys like you're going to be on your phone looking for something to do, this is one that you may not even finish it. Like it is that boring. I remember watching it. I was really excited because I'm a big fan of War of the Worlds, big science fiction horror guy. Obviously, we're doing this podcast, right? Started it, excited for things to get going. 15 minutes, nothing has happened. 25 minutes, nothing has happened. 35 minutes, nothing has happened. By 45 minutes, I was probably sitting there like this. I was probably playing with my cat over here, and I was probably surfing YouTube over here because it's that bad. It's so boring.
You're like, when's Bambi the Reckoning 2 coming out?
Yeah. It's like, am I punishing myself by finishing this?
Well, so now I kind of want to watch it and see exactly how bad it is. I've been I don't hate myself that much, but maybe I will. So it's just, and that's the thing. So I don't know if you had a chance to check out that movie that I recommended a few weeks ago, but Pontypool. It's it's a guy sitting in a room, but it's done so well. And it's so suspenseful and unnerving, and it is 95% of the movie. Same thing, he's sitting in a room, but I'd like to see your comparisons on that and see because obviously Ice Cube does not sound like he carried this at all. So I agree with that, having not seen it though. So I think that's going to be on the top of a lot of people's lists. So we'll call it a horror movie just for how bad it is.
There you go.
Scary how bad it is.
Scary how horrible it is.
Maybe that's an episode. Maybe non-horror movies that are so bad.
So bad. Oh, hi, Mark.
No,
I did not hit her.
no,
I did not.
That's not scary bad. That's genius.
You and I have a very different definition of genius.
Yeah, you're tearing me apart.
Not tearing me apart, Lisa!
Lisa.
You're my rose. You're my rose. You're my rose, Lisa.
What a story, Mark.
Hi, John. I didn't know it was you.
Oh my god.
Bye, doggy.
We're not getting into another room debacle here. If you guys are new, this is not the first time we've had this conversation randomly. But my number one, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but it is Match. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Okay. So this one, it's on Tubi. So, I don't know if anyone is familiar with Tubi.
You're really going deep.
I am, yeah. It's a Tubi original. Not just on Tubi. It is a Tubi original, exclusively on Tubi. Now, I don't hate that app. They do put some ads in there, but they are free movies. So, there are some, I think I've even mentioned a few in my recommendations that end up on Tubi. They have a lot of found footage on there. So, not dissing their app at all. I am, however, dissing their original. And I watched this one because, obviously I'm looking for the next good movie to watch. And
you know what Tubi makes me think of? Did you remember the app Quibi? It came in my brain. It came in. Like the ad commercials for it were like, "I'll be back in a Quibi," and like people would leave. They'd be at a social engagement and like back in a Quibi, and they would like leave to the bathroom and watch a quick, because the whole point of it was like it's supposed to be.
Where are you going with this? They go to the bathroom. They have a Quibi.
Exactly right. That's why it failed. Like the marketing didn't land. But like apparently they're telling stories and showing episodes in like 2-minute bits. Like, and that's back at a Quibi. You could just pop away and watch a 2-minute bit, and then go back to what you were doing, and then watch the next 2-minute bit when you have a thing. So that's what Tubi makes me think of. But sorry, I just had to interject that.
No, you're good. So yeah, I'll be back in a Tubi. So this one, it ended up on a lot of lists of just like, this is so disturbing, and I will give you that. It is very disturbing. It's not so disturbing that it's going to end up on our list like, this is one of the most disturbing movies of all time. But basically the premise is it's the world of online dating. It follows our protagonist, this chick.
So it's Match. I was thinking like Light a Match, but it's
no,
Tinder.
It's like Tinder Match, yeah. So it's this girl, I believe she, again, like I'm not going to get the details of the names of people, but she basically, I think she just broke up with her boyfriend, so she starts the world of online dating, and she matches with this successful guy. He's very good looking. So of course her friend is like, hey, meet up with this guy. So, this character isn't stupid, at least at the start. So she does a webcam video with him, and it freezes like 5 seconds in. It's clearly a guy talking, but it freezes. Oh, that's weird. I'm sure that won't come back into play. So she decides that she's going to meet up with this guy. She's seen him. She had a very brief conversation. She still talked with him on the phone without actually seeing him, since the feed cut. But so she feels good enough to go to his house. So she decides to go to his house on her own, and his mom answers the door. And I'll just tell you this: I feel like this movie was trying to be barbarian without being barbarian. So his mom answers, and his mom is very weird in talking about like, hey, like, my son, he's very interested in you. And she's like, well, why? Like, why are you here? I'm supposed to be going on a date with your son. And she like starts asking about like, is she ready to have kids and this and that, like give her grandkids. Very awkward, very, very awkward. From here, the movie takes a turn because her son is living there. She was the one catfishing this woman, though, to get her in the apartment, or to get her in the house. And
I see where this is going.
Well, I should say this. The first scene of the movie is a different girl being taken down this long corridor in a very like hostel-esque type room type thing. So she, tell me if you don't want me to ruin it for you, if you're going to check it out.
I'm probably not going to watch it. You're good.
Okay.
If you're saying it's the worst film you saw this year, I don't need to watch it.
Mainly because I'm just like, why? And, hey, you got me to watch it on Tubi, so congratulations.
There you go.
But basically, and the acting isn't great in this, but so the mom, you're just like, okay, she kidnaps these people for whatever sick reason. She ends up doing this to this chick, and I think she offers her like a bottle of wine, and this is after she's asked these 27 awful questions. Yet, our protagonist takes a sip. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, even in the movie Prisoners, I don't know if you saw that. Like the bad chick tells Hugh Jackman, like, you're gonna drink this. This is a drug, and if you don't drink it, then I'm doing this. And he reluctantly even drinks that. She drinks it. Of course, she passes out. She gets taken to this prison room with a bed in it. And you're like, okay, is this going to be like some artificial insemination type shit? Like, what weird shit is... Then her son comes out, and he's the most deranged motherfucker you've ever seen. Like, he's got a hunchback. His face is like that. He's like a Timu Monstro Elizasu. And he obviously tries to SA the woman. I believe she's able to attack him and get out, which that part I was like, okay, fine, we'll see where this goes. But this is where the movie lost me in this scene, and I'm only going to tell you about this scene so that you guys do not watch this movie. And I unfortunately watched this with my wife, and I said, hey, like, this movie's supposed to be really, like, really memorable, really. So I came into it with that, and then
memorable for all the interesting ways.
Exactly. And I really wish I hadn't used those words before we watched this. Because then one of the next scenes, the mom and her, deformed son are talking, and she's just like, come on, I showed you her pictures. Isn't she pretty? Like, you need to be able to perform and this and that. So it's already an awful conversation, like a mom to her son. And they never explain why he's deformed or anything like that. Maybe they did. I might have tuned out for it. But she ends up giving her son a hand in helping him get ready for his next project.
Wait. Are you sure you watched this on Tubi, or did you watch this on something that starts with a P and ends with a hub?
No, it was on Tubi. I think even P and Hub would disown this. So yeah, that type of mother-son relationship. So the whole movie is basically this deformed guy chasing this girl to try and SA her to give his mom a grandson. But then it takes a completely other unexpected turn where she goes into this room to hide, and there's the guy from the beginning of the movie that was doing the webcam stuff. He's actually there. He is this guy's brother, and he is a good-looking dude. He's in a wheelchair, though, which I don't know if they ever explained that. Again, I tuned out for half of this thing because it was just after that scene where the mom and the deformed son are getting cozy. I was kind of over it. And he's part of it, but he's not part of it. Like, he kind of has a moral compass, kind of doesn't. So it goes in all these weird directions. And basically, the second half of the movie is just them running away from this deformed monster. And I don't even know if they say before if they're brothers, because he talks shit to this big guy. The handicapped guy talks shit to the deformed guy. It's just, guys, it is memorable, but not in a good way. So I had to experience, so now you guys have to experience it, or you have to listen to me talk about it. If you truly want to see it and think it's not as bad as I'm talking about, then be my guest, by all means, but don't say I didn't warn you. It is very disturbing, and the whole time I'm thinking, I'm just like, somebody actually sat in a meeting, pitched this movie, pitched these scenes, and it got made. It's not like the shock for shock value. It's just like, I want to check in on whoever wrote this movie and make sure like they are mentally okay.
It's like the Hostel films. You want to check in on Eli Roth and make sure he's doing all right.
But at least like those at least had like a camp, like kind of funny like aspect to it. Like maybe not all of them, but this one, it's just like, because it's not even trying to be campy. It's trying to be like I said,
genuinely
like Barbarian.
Trying to be seriously, yeah.
Like it's trying to do those extra twists that you're not expecting. And Barbarian does it perfectly. This one, not so much. So that is my number one worst horror movie of the year that I saw was Match. Unfortunately, you can watch it for free.
Even that doesn't make me want to watch this film.
No. You would have to, like, I would say minimum, you probably got to be paid $100 for your time to watch this movie.
It'd be a torture film. We're going to play Match on repeat until you tell me where the rubber base is.
Yeah, I just remember, and my wife and I talked about just like ending it like 20 minutes. I was like, I gotta see how it ends, and it's, for the life of me, I think there's some reveal, and I think the handicapped brother ends up killing the protagonist. Like her friend shows up too, and there's this stupid ass fight that happens, and I think her ex boyfriend shows up and tries to be all macho and just like, I'll take out this deformed guy, and then he gets killed like that. It's just it's so stupid. There's no development.
Tomato.
Yeah. The first like 10 minutes, it started off suspenseful enough to draw you in, and then it's just like, oh god, why am I doing this? Like, I wasted a Friday night with this. So fuck you, everyone that put this on your list of you gotta see this. We don't do that here at Roasted Snow. We try and save you guys from shit like this. So
trying to help you.
We really are. So yeah, how you feeling about your list? I thought that was really funny because we both had some matching ones on there. I had some that I didn't see that I mentioned that you had seen. So.
Well, now you have saved me from needing to see Match. Definitely don't need to see that. I'm reinforcing that you don't need to see Strangers Chapter 2. Also reinforcing that you don't need to watch Bambi the Reckoning.
Well, so I might watch War of the Worlds though, just to see.
I guarantee you'll get 25 minutes in and you're gonna text me and be like, yeah, I need to save myself from the rest of this movie.
You know what? That's a fun thing. Maybe I will text you when I'm starting it, and then we timestamp it. So maybe for next week we will have that. So guys, I got to tell you, this was a hell of a lot of fun to do. I want to hear what your guys' takes are on these movies. If they ended up on your worst list, give us your bottom 5. I want to hear it.
What did you hate seeing this year?
Yeah. Did you hate seeing our mugs? Maybe. I don't know. No, go watch Match, and we will ultimately look better.
100%.
So,
and this is obviously this is New Year's, so if you guys are indulging in festivities, indulge in the festivities, and then we'll look better after that.
Exactly. Yeah, and do it responsibly. If you are celebrating New Year's, please, guys, take an Uber, call a friend. We want you guys around. We don't want anything. Don't ruin your life for one night of fun. Okay, not to go all dad on it, but
we were young once too,
right? Yeah, party responsibly, right? Listen to us and sober up.
Look at our faces and sober up.
Yeah, they'll sober you up really quick. But thank you guys for coming along for the ride. Again, let us know, roastedsnowhorror@gmail.com or any of our socials. Let us know what made the best of the worst for your list for the year. Obviously, we've only been doing this since Halloween, so I can't wait to do this next year and see what ends up on this list. And maybe we'll have different opinions on it going forward. So some of these
other ones too, yeah.
Right, yeah, because already thinking ahead, there's already a couple that might end up on this list from this year watching. But like we've mentioned, come back Friday for Anaconda, and I'm really excited about this one because it's such a weird thing to talk about because yes, horror movies get rebooted all the time, but not necessarily with this premise, which kind of draws you in. If you guys
kind of a genius way they went about it.
It really is. It's basically rebooting the Anaconda franchise about making a movie about making a reboot of Anaconda.
It's very meta.
Right, it is. Which you know me, I love meta movies. That's why I love Scream so much. So we'll see where this one falls, though. It was PG-13. It has Jack Black, Paul Rudd. Just tune in, listen. We'll talk about the first Anaconda, and we haven't talked about what we're going to do next Wednesday for our special episode. So stay tuned for that one. We will. We'll definitely have a great 2026. Oh fuck. We got to do our last suggestions for the year. Yes. So you just listened to an hour and 24 minutes of absolute shit. So now we're going to give you good ones. I'm
going to let you go first on this one.
I was going to say, I'll go first. I feel like you were able to take a lot of the plot points of these movies because you had them first on your list. So I am going to go with it's interesting because It's a Spanish horror movie. I believe it's still on Shudder. And I was taken to this movie because, again, guys, I look at a lot of lists that are like, you have to see this, you have to see this, whether it's disturbing, whether it's scary, whether it's, this ended up on one of those lists. And unlike Match, this one, I'm not going to watch again, but because it left such an impact on me, you definitely watch it once. It's not like extreme. It's not super bloody. It's not super gory. I'm really interested to see if you've seen this. Again, it's a Spanish horror film. It's called The Coffee Table. Have you seen it?
I have not seen that. I thought you were going to say Veronica, which is also a fantastic Spanish film.
Nope, that one. I mean, obviously, that one can end up on the list too. But no, this one, it's an indie film. I think it's like an hour and 25 minutes. It's a very simple premise, but it does not go the way you think it's going to go. Basically, it is this husband and wife. They have a newborn at home. I think it's like 6 months old or something. And they go to search out to find a coffee table for their house. And they end up buying a coffee table. And much like a lot of other horror movies, things don't go really as planned when it enters their home, but not in the way that you think. And I will leave it at that. But this one also, it's a very heavy movie. It makes you, it's so dread filled. Every scene, you're just like, it stresses you the fuck out. Like, I'm still stressed out just talking about it now. But they do lighten it up. There are some really darkly funny moments in this movie between the dialogue. It is intentionally darkly funny. You feel bad laughing about it and giggling at some of the stuff that is said, but it definitely leaves an impact on you. To put it in context, I text my brother and I was like, dude, no context, watch The Coffee Table. He texts me 2 hours later. He's like, fuck you.
That's awesome.
The Coffee Table, watch it, guys. It is a solid film. Can't say you'll watch it more than once because it is it'll stick with you. Let me put it that way.
You said that one's on Shudder?
It was on Shudder. I'd have to look again, but it probably is on a streaming service right now, and it's pretty easy to find because there's not any other horror movies called The Coffee Table. So it was made in I think it was 2023, maybe 2024. It's recent.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go with an interesting recommendation here, and I know that you've seen this one. This is actually a remake of a European film. I'm going to go with Funny Games, the remake with Naomi Watts and Tim Roth. Funny Games is another one that it doesn't need to be heavy on the gore. Similar to The Strangers, there's not a lot of not a lot of killing, because there certainly is killing. But Funny Games tells the story of an affluent family who just a husband, his wife, and their young son. They're just trying to have a getaway for the weekend. They go up to, it's not even a cabin in the woods, it's a lake house. It's a house on a beautiful lake.
It's gorgeous.
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. Very affluent, very gorgeous. They go up to this house and they are visited by the two, how should we say, two neighbors, they're brothers. What's the best way to describe them, Ryan? Affluent. They look like they go to Harvard.
I was going to say they look like country club bros.
Yeah, absolutely. They're wearing white shorts, clean white tops. They have a golf hat on. They literally look like they came out of a country club. And they simply arrive and ask to borrow some eggs. And things go extremely dark and extremely downhill very fast. This is a film that it's extremely uncomfortable to watch. And I don't mean uncomfortable because it's, like I said, gory or super bloody or anything like that. It's uncomfortable to the amount of how these two boys terrorize this family and what they ultimately do to them. There is a really funny, I call it funny, kind of fourth wall breaking instance that happens about 4/5 of the way through the film. But overall, this is really terrifying. It's extremely uncomfortable to watch. It actually gets kind of hard to watch as it gets later on in the film. It does not have a happy ending. I'll tell you that right now. But it's a very scary, horrifying hour and 30 minutes. But yeah, I'm going to recommend Funny Games.
So, and actually, that you brought that up, The Coffee Table. It is kind of leaves you with the same feeling that Funny Games does when you're done with it. Also does not have a happy ending. It doesn't have a happy beginning, middle, or end. But yeah, in Funny Games, it's just, yeah, like you said, it's just these two clean cut guys, country club bros. They
blonde hair, bright blue eyes.
And hey, like just the neighbors, hey, we're asking for some eggs. And of course you're gonna, hey, come on in.
Come on in.
Hey, you guys need anything? Mi casa, su casa. Yeah, and just the way things go from 0 to 60 and just how calm these guys are and how just that to be demented, you don't have to just be like crazy eyes and crazy.
Well, and it plays on the trope of when you guys think of a serial killer or a movie monster or a villain, what do you think of? You think of someone who's psychotic, unkempt. They probably have dark hair. Hell, maybe they have darker skin, right? You have these conjuring ideas in your mind. What you don't think of a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, handsome, pretty-looking white dude. You don't. You really don't. And this kind of plays on that trope of you assume that this innocent looking person is exactly that, and that's not the case.
Well, and aside from that fourth wall break, it is very realistic.
There's nothing paranormal or suspension of disbelief in this. It's 100% rooted in reality.
Yeah, it is. That's a great suggestion. It's an all-time classic, and actually the remake is done so well that sometimes you can't even tell the difference between the remake and the
it's like shot for
shot. Yeah, it looks exactly the same colors. It is so well done.
The phrase "Ciao Bella" has stuck with me throughout all these years. Ciao Bella.
Yep. Yeah, think twice before you hang out at a picturesque lake house. But yeah, guys, those are great recommendations. Again, love all you guys. Thank you for sticking it out with us through the worst of 2025. Excited to see what 2026 holds. Hope you all have a great, fantastic, and safe new year. Chris, love you, buddy. Well, let's keep doing it.
Back at you, my guy.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, guys. Happy New Year.
See you next year.
See you next year.
Thanks for listening to the Roasted Snow Horror Show.
Please follow us on our social media pages and tell your friends.
Pretty please!